Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Common sense is nothing more than a deposit of prejudices laid down in the mind before age 18. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I would teach peace rather than war. I would inculcate love rather than hate. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking. Where there is love, there is no imposition. A question that sometimes drives me hazy. Am I, or are the others, crazy? It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. A friend to all is a friend to none. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. The law is reason, free from passion. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. Without friends, no one would choose to live, though he had all other goods. The soul never thinks without a picture. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Man is by nature a social animal. The ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. The virtue of justice consists in moderation, as regulated by wisdom. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsions, habit, reason, passion, desire. Time crumbles things. Everything grows old under the power of time and is forgotten through the lapse of time. One swallow does not make a summer, neither does one fine day. Similarly, one day or brief time of happiness does not make a person entirely happy. Those that know do, those that understand teach. He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. Memory is the scribe of the soul. For one swallow does not make a spring, nor does one day. The end of labor is to gain leisure. To perceive is to suffer. Mothers are fonder than fathers of their children because they are more certain they are their own. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. He who has many friends has no friends. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in 2 bodies. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in 2 bodies. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. We become just by performing just action, temperate by performing temperate actions, brave by performing brave actions. The good for man is an activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. All human beings by nature desire to know. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in 2 bodies. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. All things in moderation. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. The law is reason, free from passion. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting 2 bodies. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. He who is afraid will suffer the effects of fear. The ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. A friend to all is a friend to none. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. The purpose of life is to find happiness. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. To be a good man, you must be a good citizen. The law is reason, unaffected by desire. We can't be brave without fear. A wise man will be master of his mind, a fool will be its slave. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. There is no great genius without a mixture of madness. The greatest friendships are those where we love the other for what he is. Man is by nature a social animal. All men by nature desire to know. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow, ripening fruit. Nature does nothing in vain. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The mark of an educated mind is the ability to entertain a thought without accepting it. It is not the length of life, but depth of life. The one exclusive sign of thorough knowledge is the power of teaching. Hope is a waking dream. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Those who know do. Those that understand teach. He who has no confidence in himself will always find a way not to win. Good habits formed at youth make all the difference. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. The one who is greatest in character is the one who is most generous. No great genius has ever existed without some touch of madness. The greatest victories are those that happen within. We must be the change we wish to see. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The good for man is an activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. A friend is a second self. The essence of life is to serve others and do good. Education is the best provision for old age. The law is the reason unaffected by desire. To be good is to be happy. All virtue is summed up in dealing justly. There is no genius without a mixture of madness. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. A true friend is one soul in two bodies. We do not think rightly, but we think best when we think of the right thing. The highest virtues are those that we can attain by ourselves. No one can be a great thinker who does not recognize that, as a thinker, it is his first duty to think for himself. It is the mark of a good man to not be swayed by his own desires. He who has been given much will be required. Wisdom begins in wonder. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. Life is too short for long-term grudges. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. The tough thing is figuring out what questions to ask, but once you do that, the rest is really easy. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. My biggest mistake is probably weighing too much on someone's talent and not someone's personality. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. You have to be pretty driven to make it happen. Otherwise, you will just make yourself miserable. Constantly seek criticism. A well-thought-out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people as it is about the product they sell. The factory is the machine that builds the machine. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. I'd like to dial it back 5% or 10% and try to have a vacation that's not just email with a view. Great companies are built on great products. Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual player will often win. But then there's a multiplier from how those players work together and the strategy they employ. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, life and your job is going to be quite miserable. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. There are really two things that need to be done. One is to try to have a future that is inspiring and appealing, and the other is to try to make sure the future happens. The thing that drives me is that I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. The only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. It is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. It's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think most of the important stuff on the internet has been built. There will be continued innovation for sure, but the great problems of the internet have essentially been solved. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness, to make sure it continues into the future. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. Opportunities lie in the place where the complaints are. You need the right people with you, not the best people. The very important thing you should have is patience. Never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. I don't care about revenues. The world needs new leadership, but the new leadership is about working together. If you want to be successful, learn from the other people's mistakes, not their successes. Help young people, help small guys, because small guys will be big. You never know how much you can do in your life. You should learn from your competitor, but never copy. Copy, and you die. I try to make myself happy no matter what happens. My job is to help more people have jobs. If we are a good team and know what we want to do, one of us can defeat 10 of them. If you've never tried, how will you ever know if there's any chance? Intelligent people need a fool to lead them. When the team's all a bunch of scientists, it is best to have a peasant lead. A leader should have higher grit and tenacity and be able to endure what the employees can't. We appreciate yesterday, but we're looking for a better tomorrow. The very important thing you should have is patience. In the era of data technology, the biggest challenge is not what you know, but what you have. I want people to learn what democracy means. You cannot unify everyone's thoughts. but you can unify everyone through a common goal. Your attitude is more important than your capabilities. Before you're 30, work for a small company, learn passion and dreams. If we want to change the world, we change ourselves first. When you are small, you have to be very focused and rely on your brain, not your strength. No matter what your current job is, you need to think about what your next job is. I call myself a blind man riding on a blind tiger. Customers first, employees second, shareholders third. We will make it because we are young and we will never give up. Life is so short, so beautiful. Don't be so serious about work. Enjoy the lives. If the customer loves you, the government will have to love you. The opportunities that everyone cannot see are the real opportunities. It doesn't matter how wealthy or powerful you are. If you can't enjoy the sunshine, you can't be truly happy. Forget about your competitors, just focus on your customers. When we have money, we start making mistakes. The lessons I learned from the dark days at Alibaba are that you've got to make your team have value, innovation, and vision. When you are poor, you have to be very smart. I'm not a tech guy. I'm looking at the technology with the eyes of my customers, normal people's eyes. We should never finish a 20-year program in 2 years. I know nothing about technology. My job is to find the people who can. A leader should never compare his technical skills with his employees. My philosophy is to always find a way to make the impossible possible. Giving up is the greatest failure. Hire the right women for the right jobs. I always tell myself that we are born here not to work, but to enjoy life. We are here to make things better for one another. When we see something is coming, we have to prepare now. Our philosophy is, using internet technology, we can make every company become Amazon. If we are a good team and know what we want to do, one of us can defeat 10 of them. Love is not about how many days, months, or years you've been together. It's about how much you love each other every single day. True love is not about perfection. It is hidden in flaws and acceptance. Love is the bridge between two hearts, the bond that no storm can break. In the end, love you take is equal to the love you make. The greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Love is not just looking at each other, it's looking in the same direction. To love and be loved is to feel the sun from both sides. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. Love doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be true. In a world full of temporary things, you are my forever. Love is when the other person's happiness is more important than your own. The best thing to hold on to in life is each other. True love is eternal, infinite, and always like itself. Where there is love, there is life. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Love is the master key that opens the gates of happiness. Love cures people, both the ones who give it and the ones who receive it. The best proof of love is trust. Love is the flower, you've got to let it grow. To love and be loved is to feel the sun from both sides. Love is not finding someone to live with. It's finding someone you can't live without. Love does not dominate, it cultivates. The art of love is largely the art of persistence. Love is a canvas, furnished by nature and embroidered by imagination. Love is the voice under all silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. True love stories never have endings. We are most alive when we're in love. There is only one happiness in this life, to love and be loved. You know it's love when all you want is that person to be happy, even if you're not part of their happiness. Love is a friendship set to music. Love is a game that two can play and both win. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. Love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. To be brave is to love someone unconditionally, without expecting anything in return. Love's greatest gift is its ability to make everything it touches sacred. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. Love is not just about saying "I love you," but showing how much you care with every little action. The best love is the kind that awakens the soul, that makes us reach for more. Love is when you sit beside someone doing nothing, yet you feel perfectly happy. Love is not what you say. Love is what you do. Love is like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it. True love is not about being inseparable. It's about being separated and nothing changes. Love is the only gold. To love and win is the best thing. To love and lose, the next best. The way to love anything is to realize that it may be lost. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made, like bread, remade all the time, made new. Love is the great miracle cure. Loving ourselves works miracles in our lives. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. Love is the greatest refreshment in life, is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It always seems impossible until it's done. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. We must use time creatively and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. I never lose. I either win or learn. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. It is in your hands to make a better world for all who live in it. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity. It is an act of justice. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. We must strive to be moved by a generosity of spirit that will enable us to outgrow the hatred and conflicts of the past. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. When people are determined, they can overcome anything. It is not where you start, but how high you aim that matters for success. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow fear to stand in our way. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. When the water starts boiling, it is foolish to turn off the heat. A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dream of. It is said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. In my country, we go to prison first and then become president. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that great generation. Let your greatness blossom. It is wise to persuade people to do things and make them think it was their own idea. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Change your thoughts, and you change your life. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Every moment is a fresh beginning. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. It always seems impossible until it's done. Turn your wounds into wisdom. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. We become what we think about. The power of imagination makes us infinite. Dream big and dare to fail. It is never too late to be what you might have been. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you want to fly, give up everything that weighs you down. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Don't count the days. Make the days count. Your past does not equal your future. Small daily improvements over time lead to stunning results. When you know what you want and want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. The best revenge is massive success. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. The only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. The distance between your dreams and reality is called action. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on, the mind is everything. What you think you become, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Opportunity does not knock. It presents itself when you beat down the door. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. The only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. Your only limit is the one you set for yourself. Today is a new day, full of new opportunities. Dream big, start small, but begin now. Success isn't final, and failure isn't fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Discipline today brings freedom tomorrow. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. Small steps in the right direction are still steps. Every morning is a chance to start fresh. What you do today determines your tomorrow. Your mindset shapes your reality. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. You can't control everything, but you can control your attitude. Don't wait for motivation. Act, and it will follow. Rise with purpose and end the day with gratitude. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Be a little better than you were yesterday. The future depends on what you do today. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. Success is built by the habits you form today. Every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Start your day with intention and clarity. What you focus on expands. Choose wisely. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. Be productive, not just busy. Consistency is more important than perfection. Your dreams won't work unless you do. Find joy in the journey, not just the destination. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Action breeds confidence and clarity. Learn from mistakes, but don't dwell on them. Wake up with a purpose and go to bed with pride. Your energy introduces you before you speak. The way you start the day sets the tone for everything. Great things never come from comfort zones. Be intentional with your time and effort. Success starts with self-belief. Each day is a chance to become the person you want to be. Set a goal that makes you want to jump out of bed. Focus on progress, not perfection. The more you learn, the more you grow. Turn your intentions into actions. The key to success is to start before you are ready. You attract what you are, so be what you want. Nothing changes unless you do. Wake up with determination, sleep with satisfaction. Find the beauty in every moment, no matter how small. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Today is the perfect day to become the best version of yourself.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. Fall 7 times and stand up 8. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. The secret of success is to do the common thing uncommonly well. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Don't be distracted by criticism. Remember, the only taste of success some people have is when they take a bite out of you. The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Success is not the absence of failure, it's the persistence through failure. Success is how high you bounce when you hit bottom. If you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Success is about creating benefit for all and enjoying the process. If you focus on this and adopt this definition, success is yours. Success is simple. Do what's right, the right way, at the right time. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. Action is the foundational key to all success. Success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. To succeed in life, you need 2 things: ignorance and confidence. Success is not in what you have, but who you are. Success is not measured by what you accomplish, but by the opposition you have encountered and the courage with which you have maintained the struggle against overwhelming odds. Success is finding satisfaction in giving a little more than you take. Success is the result of perfection, hard work, learning from failure, loyalty, and persistence. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. To succeed, we must first believe that we can. The best revenge is massive success. Success does not consist in never making mistakes, but in never making the same one a second time. Success is achieved and maintained by those who try and keep trying. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Success is the good fortune that comes from aspiration, desperation, perspiration, and inspiration. Success is a journey, not a destination. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. To be or not to be, that is the question. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. The better part of valor is discretion. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. All that glisters is not gold. The course of true love never did run smooth. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Brevity is the soul of wit. Love looks not with the eyes but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. With mirth and laughter let old wrinkles come. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. The empty vessel makes the loudest sound. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs. How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Though she be but little, she is fierce. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Hell is empty, and all the devils are here. The miserable have no other medicine but only hope. All's well that ends well. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. The quality of mercy is not strained. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. What a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty. If music be the food of love, play on. The rob that smiles steals something from the thief. Love sought is good, but given unsought is better. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. There is no darkness but ignorance. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. The miserable have no other medicine but only hope. To thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world. The love of heaven makes one heavenly. No legacy is so rich as honesty. This above all, to thine own self be true. The wheel has come full circle. The stroke of death is as a lover's pinch, which hurts and is desired. If you're going through hell, keep going. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something sometime in your life. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Never, never, never give up. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. You must put your head into the lion's mouth if the performance is to be a success. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. A fanatic is one who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. To build may have to be the slow and laborious task of years. To destroy can be the thoughtless act of a single day. Out of intense complexities, intense simplicities emerge. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. We shape our buildings. Thereafter, they shape us. The empires of the future are the empires of the mind. Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. All the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word. Freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. It is a mistake to try to look too far ahead. The chain of destiny can only be grasped one link at a time. To jaw is always better than to war. I am easily satisfied with the very best. We sleep safely at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. The price of greatness is responsibility. Solitary trees, if they grow at all, grow strong. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. It is no use saying, "We are doing our best." You have got to succeed in doing what is necessary. My tastes are simple. I am easily satisfied with the best. Difficulties mastered are opportunities won. In war, you can only be killed once, but in politics, many times. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I never worry about action, but only about inaction. A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen. A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. I like pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. In finance, everything that is agreeable is unsound, and everything that is sound is disagreeable. Personally, I'm always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. This is no time for ease and comfort. It is time to dare and endure. In wartime, truth is so precious that she should always be attended by a bodyguard of lies. The problems of victory are more agreeable than those of defeat, but they are no less difficult. It is better to be making the news than taking it, to be an actor rather than a critic. Never hold discussions with the monkey when the organ grinder is in the room. The first duty of the university is to teach wisdom, not a trade, character, not technicalities. We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. If we open a quarrel between past and present, we shall find that we have lost the future. The inherent vice of capitalism is the unequal sharing of blessings. The inherent virtue of socialism is the equal sharing of miseries. In those days, he was wiser than he is now. He used to frequently take my advice. A love of tradition has never weakened a nation. Indeed, it has strengthened nations in their hour of peril. The power of man has grown in every sphere except over himself. Broadly speaking, the short words are the best, and the old words best of all. This report, by its very length, defends itself against the risk of being read. We are stripped bare by the curse of plenty,